Mitch McConnell decided to do a press conference in public. That was a mistake because Democracy Spring was in town. So they went and did a mic check in front of his press conference. So he had to wrap it up. Okay. So I would love to ask those politicians questions through the mic check. Mic check, mic check. You know, how much money have you received from donor X? How much money have you received from donor X? Now, this was in the rotunda in the Capitol building. Let's watch.
We enjoyed you.
I really wish we'd gone here last.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you, sir. Much respect. Okay. Yeah. Guys are doing, Thank you. Got all these things going on. All right, ready, guys?
Mic check!
Mic check!
Mic check!
Mic check!
We the people!
We the people!
Demand of democracy!
Demand of democracy!
Free from the corrupting influence!
Free from the corrupting influence!
Of big money!
Of big money!
And voter suppression!
And voter suppression!
We demand a democracy!
We demand a democracy!
Where every vote is counted!
Where every vote is counted!
And every voice is heard!
And every voice is heard!
Democracy!
Spring!
Democracy!
Spring!
Democracy!
Spring!
We are nonviolent. We will not assault you. We are peaceful protesters.
I'm here for the rest team.
Okay. So that was a little overdose of people. They went in as visitors and then handcuffed themselves until they had to be removed. Now imagine if it was 100 or 400 or 1,000 in there. Then you get to see the power of people. And that chant was slightly awkward. But no, it was a good job. It was a good job. But I like some of the other chants a lot better. My favorite was when we were sitting at the Capitol. Whose house? Our house.
We used to say that when we played basketball.
That's right. Well, you know,
say that on a TV show too, I think.
in a city not so far from Washington, I believe a certain Ray Lewis used to say that before every game. And I'll tell you, look, last thing on this. One of my favorite moments of my life is we get arrested, we get taken in the bus, and then we're kept outside a little bit, and then you walk down a tunnel, and then you enter this warehouse where they're holding all of us, and there's at least a couple hundred people in there. Some have already been released, processed and released, but a lot of people, and some are outside, but most of the people are in there. And I walked down the tunnel, and I got there, and they spontaneously started chanting, "Jang, Jang, Jang," and you know, look, I did all I could to not cry. That was super, super sweet of them, and. So those are, look, there's a great upside in going. You know, they'll paint you as a hippie and a this and a that, etc. But, you know, you make friends because I was sitting there for all day with everybody, right? And you become brother in arms, sometimes literally when you lock arms. And you learn from people. There's a great rabbinical student there. There was a great couple of veterans there and some old school protesters that I learned a lot from, etc. But I think even more important than that is that you feel the power of the people. And that's a super interesting, great feeling. And I want you guys to feel that. Whether it's this time around or the next time we do it, trust me that part you're going to love.
And I don't want to extend it too far, so I promise. But there's also the process. You know, you go in there, you pay a fine, you get out. Some people in normal, everyday getting arrested circumstances can't afford these fines. They get put in the system. No one knows their name, and they never get heard about again. Or then say they're in prison for those 30 days before their trial, their hearing, or their arraignment, whatever the hell they're supposed to do, and then they're off their job for 30 days. Yeah. Their boss goes, "What the hell? Where have you been? Protesting? I can hire someone to do this job since you don't want to do your job." There's so many things that you can risk that you will get, that people will get sacrificed for what they need to do, and if you can't do it, some people may say, "I can't do that, man," and that's. There's a privilege in being able to do stuff like this. Yeah. That, as you mentioned earlier, people back in the 60s didn't have these privileges to do. So there's still a certain number of people that can do this and get away with it in a way. There's many people who can't get away with this, who are afraid once they're in that hole, am I getting out of this hole? We've talked about many of these cases. Sandra Bland didn't get out of that hole. She was by herself, you know? So it's those people you always have to remember when you're still doing this stuff, because it's who else we're still fighting for when you do stuff like this. It's hard to do, and many people still can't do it.
That's 100% right. I mean, boy, I've got enormous privilege in doing it. I knew I was going to get bailed out. I knew I wasn't going to get fired, right?
We talked about it.
And for most people, they do it quietly. Nobody chants their name, right?
Yeah.
And they risk a lot of things to do that. So those guys are, in a lot of ways, far, far, far more courageous. And one of the guys, as we were getting arrested, said, "Hey, I want to remind everybody, these, Washington police that we're thanking right now, that are treating us so well, in Southeast, they don't treat people quite as well as this when they're arresting them, right? So don't forget, don't be overly thankful today, because this is not how a normal arrest in Washington goes down."
Absolutely.